Thaddeus Cray Productions presents Werewolf Hunter, Forbidden Cargo. Set sail with me, dear listener, on a sea voyage of terror. Alex, a few years after the events of Werewolf Hunter, Tragedy of Oak Run, and directly after Abel the Founder, is called in to help the Council of Ten one last time. He will witness things that shake him to the core in the depths of depravity. He will also witness a werewolf of unparalleled cruelty and power, in which even Alex might not be able to defeat. An old rundown tavern in Anchorage, Alaska. Two men sit, nursing their drinks. One man is a large fellow, powerfully built. His name is Joshua Falcone. This man has done many things. All of them, for the most part, very bad. He's a master criminal and has no shame in this fact. These qualities have endeared him to another man who sits across from him at the bar. The old man is obviously deep in thought. He's troubled, but also somewhat hopeful. I'm telling you right now, Garrett, this is a bad idea, Joshua says. The thin, almost frail-looking man meets the other man's gaze, his cobalt blue eyes seeming to pierce the other's soul. I haven't been able to talk to one of my own kind in years. You're aware this is an excuse for the council to poke their nose where it doesn't fucking belong. Possibly. But from what I'm hearing, he's as disgusted with them as I am. They took everything from me, boy. You know that. I get that, old man. But this is not... I think you're letting your emotions cloud your judgment. Possibly. This young man is on the level. And I actually believe he is. It'd be very valuable. Especially if there's two of us of the same race, species, working together. Trust me. The council won't know shit. Speaking of the council, Rumenchek, he's been taking chances with us. He's asking more. I'm thinking maybe we can actually provide. Well, doing what we do. That one juvenile Sasquatch, he proved very lucrative. Yeah, we were able to get him to the right buyers. We're lucky that Rumenchek knows these people, or else we wouldn't be able to do a damn thing. Now, the other council members found out about it. Number one, he would be torn to shreds and I would be next, as well as anyone connected to me. He's not that stupid. He has no desire to commit suicide. And of course, he knows that if he tries to flip the dime on me, well, I'll sing like a bird. He's not stupid. That's one thing we don't need to worry about. Now, as for our cargo currently, I have to admit, she's a fine one. Yeah, she is, he said, wiggling his brows. You need to kind of keep your urges at bay for right now. Like I said, I think this man's on the level with us. I'll be able to know quick enough. What kind of rank do you think he is? You mean in abilities? I'm not sure. I don't really know much about this Alex. I know he was mentored by Blackfeather, who used to be a good friend of mine. It's very possible this could be a trap, but if it is, well, I don't care what kind of abilities he has, alpha or not. Not many people can take me, and I have the advantage of this being my home base. All I have to do is kill him, dump him overboard, and that's it. No harm, no foul, and, well, the fact is, the council, they'll have to deny any responsibility, because they're not stupid either. I think Rumenchek's just a wee bit too ambitious, if you get my meaning. Yeah, I understand your concerns there, too. But like I said, as long as he keeps things on the down low, we should be fine. And like I told you before, if he says anything or tries to make a move against me, all I have to do is throw myself at the mercy of the council. They'd probably still kill you. It's a possibility, but I have my doubts on that. They're stuck in old ways, stupid, honorable ways. They're easy enough to trick. The only one I'd be concerned about is the damn founder. You mean that whatever he is? He said he's like you, but not. He's half vampire as well. I personally think that abomination should have been destroyed a long time ago. But in the end, he was the one that founded the council and gave me opportunities earlier, and even now down the line. It's a system that's easy to manipulate, but I have to be careful. We have to be careful. What about the brothers? Are they, well, old Red's keeping them out of that damn vault? That's one thing which I can definitely say he's useful on. We were very skilled, I have to admit, in capturing him. Never thought a dogman of all things would actually prove to be as useful as he is. Well, you whipped him real good into shape, I'll give you that. Garrett nods. He was a handful. He damn near got me, too. Not too many dogmen could take one of my kind. As a matter of fact, it's almost impossible. This Alex, actually, I've heard, he actually took out an entire pack of them, which is pretty impressive. I mean, even a beta or a gamma could easily take an alpha dogman and tear it apart, potentially, but take an entire pack of them like he did? That in itself. I don't get it, though. You say that he was one of their hunters. He's part of the Brotherhood, that's right. Well, isn't the Brotherhood like the elites? They're the elite soldiers that do the council's bidding, yeah. Well, if this guy was one of the brothers, part of the Brotherhood, they're a pretty loyal bunch. Why? Again, the council's fickle. They'll throw you out without even thinking twice about it if it suits their interests. They're always cowardly, covering their own asses. Hell, Rumenchek is a perfect example of that. Despite the fact he's a very lucrative client. I'm a little concerned about that. He's been putting more demand than I think we can handle. Now, the Sasquatch, that juvenile, we're able to get to the highest bidder. Definitely didn't hurt our pockets. I know. I'm just saying. I think we have to be careful with this. All right, now, this cargo we have is in that vault in the hold of my ship. Shouldn't be much of an issue. And as to the brothers, like I said, this supposedly is their last run. At least that's what Jonathan told me. How do you want to handle them once it's all fixed and done? Let them go. I'm a man of my word, despite what many people might think, he says, looking pointedly to Joshua. I get it. I'll let it be. Good. Now, moving on from that. The way I see it, they know to keep their mouths shut. They're not stupid. And we pay them well. Let them get another crew. Besides, if the middle boy knows anything like he knew the contacts we did in prison, which led him to me, I don't think we'll have a problem. Besides, he did say that he would help me get more people once they left. You can't really blame them. I mean, you see only so much, and you don't handle so much when it comes to humans. They simply had their fill. I can respect that. They were good, they're loyal for the most part. They don't know exactly what we have this time, and I can't take chances with that. And I won't. So, providing they don't discover who we have, or what we have, shouldn't be a problem. So what are we going to do if this little recruit of yours becomes too nosy? I told you, I'll deal with him. But as powerful as they come, whether he's an alpha or not, I don't care. I'll simply tear him apart. And as I told you, the council will deny all plausibility. They won't have a choice. What about Abel? The founder? He's an abomination, like I said. There needs to be a switch. But he's too busy being in that ivory tower in the Carpathian Mountains to be a concern to me. I could care less about all that foolishness. So this is what's going to happen. the next couple hours, this young man is going to make himself known right here in this bar. You are not going to be a problem. Do you understand? Do you understand? Yes, sir. Good. Now, I have things to do. I have a couple more drinks here to enjoy. You go on and do your thing, whatever. But make sure everyone is in line. Do we understand one another? Or I'll make sure the brothers behave as well. Good. I'll go. The man nods and leaves. Take care of the affairs in which he was ordered to do. Garrett is very calm and patient. And with this, he looks to his cell phone. He feels it vibrate and then ring. This must be the individual, he thinks to himself out loud. And with this, the waitress comes. Well, you know, the bartender, she comes and offers him a drink. He takes it. Thanks, sweetie. I'm going to go ahead and take this call real quick. And with this, he answers the phone. I take it that this is, Mr. Haggerty? Matter of fact, it is, young man. I take it you're Alex McIntyre? That's right. Good to know. I'm not going to say anything over the phone. I want to see you face to face. We'll figure out what to do and where to go from there. I am going to warn you on one thing. You know what I am, and I know what you are. We're probably two flip sides of the same coin. That's why I'm giving you this chance. I need not say any more. I'm not exactly in the mood to go around issuing veiled threats, but I'm going to give you this one-time warning. It's not a problem. Not going to be an issue. Good to know. I'll see you here in an hour. He hangs up. Sure enough, he sees the individual at the door. Garrett himself is a tall, slim man, close to 6'1". He only weighs maybe 165 pounds, soaking wet, at least in his human form. This man, however, is short, stocky, muscular. He has a thick beard, adorning rugged features. Garrett narrows his eyes. The man's scent can't be denied. This is indeed a fellow werewolf. Alex calmly walks up to the man. I take it you're Mr. Haggerty, correct? Indeed, Mr. McIntyre. Pleasure to meet you. To shake hands. I figured this place right here would be a good place as any for us to meet and to talk. There's nothing against you, young man. I'm just not one to be trusting too easily. Can't afford to be. But as I said, I've already given you my warning, so there's no need for us to go any further down that rabbit hole. But I do want to know your story. I need to understand who I'm working with and what I'm dealing with. All right. What exactly is it you want to know? I want to know why you're so interested and keen to work with me. How do I know that you're not someone sent by the council? That's what I want to know. I can tell you why. They fucked me over just like they did you. Intriguing. Enlighten me. What made you do what you do? I know a little bit about you. You were, for a time, part of the Brotherhood. It's as powerful as it gets, as well as dedicated. Many of those in the Brotherhood hunt down cryptids to keep their numbers low, especially dogmen. I heard that's what you did. You also have quite a high count. You've killed well over 3 dozen of them. They're difficult to deal with, but I had to. I saw 2 friends of mine torn to shreds. They were actually all I had left in this world that I considered family. My wife, as you know, died of cancer. I'm aware. So, well, the 2 of them. Their names were Arnold and Rachel. As I said, they were good to me. Do they know what you were? Alex shakes his head. No, not truly. I think Arnie may have had his suspicions, but I kept him in the dark for the most part. I desired to protect him. Especially from those who aren't exactly friends of our kind. Commendable. But I take it these dogmen tore them to shreds? Yeah. They prepared a trap for him, actually. We were all supposed to meet at my friend's cabin. It was owned by his uncle at the time. They had a son, too. The kid was the only survivor. He's actually turned himself around, but him getting there was a very rough road. So, you did this for revenge then? At first, yeah. But then I kind of got tired of doing it. And when I told the council about it, that I was tired of hunting these things and I wanted something else, they told me that I needed to keep my mouth shut and keep doing what I was supposed to do. I was paid well to do it. I said, I'm tired. They told me point blank that if I didn't, they would hurt the boy. Because he is somewhat under their protection, or he was. Blackfeather himself told me, if I change course in my path, then that protection will be removed, and something might even happen. Typical. He was always a coward like that. Trying to go after innocent people. Disgusting. Alex smirked slightly. He, of course, knows all too well about Garrett, as well as the things in which he does. The fact is, Alex has had to be a very good actor much of his life. Partly due to what he had become at such a young age, against his will, but also simply to survive. So Alex knows for a fact, while this man is wily and very dangerous, he has to be careful. Because one wrong move could get him killed. He has too much to ride on this. He promised to do this as a favor to Charles, because in the end, that old man, he owed everything to. While Rebecca had not been too keen on him doing this, in the end, she had actually sat down and talked with him, saying, I think you need to do this. And Alex has finally said, you know what, I'll do one more favor for you guys, and that is being the council. And therefore, once Charles had filled him in on what Abel needed to be done, especially when it came to one corrupt member of the council possibly being involved in this man smuggling cryptids, Alex knows for a fact this man is a hypocrite. He wants to rip this man's throat out right now. That's not how the protocols work. So he fiends very well and exhales lightly from his cigar. Yeah, you could say that. He never was one to keep his word. Never. So in the end, I had to make sure that the boy was secured in a very safe location. Leave it at that. I understand you can't go into any further detail. I respect that. So, now you know my story. I want to know yours. You kind of told me a little bit over the horn, but I understand. You want to know who you're dealing with. As you know, I'm an alpha. There's a pack here in Anchorage. They come and they go, as they please. We always did. I was their leader. I was voted in. This is a normal process. Unfortunately, I admit I made a few mistakes. The council, though, didn't see all the good I had done. They chose to betray me instead. Of course, my pack. I can't really blame them too much. They fell under their authority and they had to exile me. It was either that or me be killed. And, well, I have no desire to die, boy. If you understand where I'm going with that. Of course, who does? Unless you're suicidal, which I don't think you are. Not at all. So, as a result, I no longer had their funding. And as you probably have guessed, I've always been a man of the sea. It's always been a place where I feel calm and at peace. My father, he was a crab fisherman here in this city, as a matter of fact. Very, very strong-minded man. Unfortunately, an accident claimed his life. I was but maybe 17 when I met Blackfeather. Of course, he was much younger than he is now. We became friends, and he offered me a chance, an opportunity. He offered me the power of the wolf. So he's the one that infected you. Yes, he is. Unfortunately, that's about as far as it got. While we remained good friends for a long time, he himself ended up turning his back on me after I was exiled. Of course, Alex knows the truth. Knows the real reason in which Garrett had been exiled. The fact is, the man loved to hunt humans for sport, and he had done it one too many times, risking the exposure of the race, as well as that of the Fellowship of the Wolf itself and the Council. And such things cannot be allowed, and Charles Blackfeather, of course, being a man of moral ground, he immediately abandoned all connection he had with Garrett. So Alex knows the truth, but he bites his tongue and sympathizes with the man. You can tell this man is desperately lonely, and he actually does have some empathy for the old bastard. The bearded man decides to get to the point. I understand. Isolation, when it comes to those like us, it does something to the mind and the spirit. In a very negative way. Exactly. We're social creatures. I may have done questionable things, but I didn't deserve what I got. Just like you. I think we have much in common. I'm going against my own judgment. Possibly of loneliness, but also, again, I see a kinship in you. You're an alpha, I can tell that about you. I could definitely use one like you to keep things in line. So what exactly are we dealing with? Well, we're not going to be talking here. We'll be talking on my ship. If you understand where I'm going with this, of course. Come. And with this, the two men stand and leave the bar. The ship itself is a fairly nice one. It's an older cargo vessel. Definitely seaworthy and reinforced. Alex can tell Garrett is a man of definite mechanical knowledge as well as seafaring knowledge. He's impressed. Yet he also feels sad that such knowledge could be wasted on just a very evil man. But again, he keeps his opinions to himself. They're in his office, fairly large area, which is basically the captain's quarters. Alex takes a seat when it's offered. All right, this is how it's going to play, and this is what we do. Number one, I will pay you very well for your services. Number two, I'm a man that does not abide laziness in any way, shape, or form. You don't have to worry about that from me. I believe that, as a matter of fact. Now, there are other members of my crew, which you will have to, of course, get acquainted with. One is my first mate. Try to avoid him if you can. He's very abrasive by nature, but at the same time, he's very loyal to me. And somewhat protective. Then, of course, I'm his meal ticket, so you can't blame the guy for that. He's very intelligent for a human, very resourceful. He's actually proved invaluable. So, what about him? What should I know? Well, he's a man that grew up in the streets of New York to an Italian family. He has mob connections, or did. Unfortunately, many of them sold him out, and he was sent to prison. How's that for loyalty, huh? But anyway. Once he got out, me and him hit it up pretty good, and, well, for the last 15 years, he's been nothing but loyal, as I said. All I have to do is ask him to jump, and he asks how high. So I think you understand where I'm going with this. I expect complete loyalty in my men. And he definitely does not disappoint, as I'm sure you will not. All right, now what about the others? Their names are Jonathan, Aaron, and Stephen. Stephen's the youngest. He's a little more curious than the others, too much for his own good. Jonathan is the oldest. He keeps everyone in line for the most part. He doesn't go around asking any questions, and he doesn't go around poking his nose where it doesn't belong. On the other hand, well, the middle of them, the middle brother, his name's Aaron. They're all, for the most part, here because of him. He had connections while he was in prison. What was he locked up for? Honestly, last time I checked, it was bank robbery. Nothing too nefarious. He simply got too greedy, and, well, the other two went along with him, and, well, they all got in some serious trouble. Jonathan, of course, has not made that same mistake again. He's the one that has pretty much situated himself as the one in charge. Aaron, on the other hand, is ex-military as well, so he has contacts in which you can only dream of. Much like yourself. Special forces, then. Matter of fact, he was. Stephen, he's still very young. He's probably 23, 24. Just a boy. As I said, he can be a little bit belligerent, but at the same time, he's also one that gets the job done. I don't have too many rules, just that you do as you're told, and make sure that, of course, this ship is kept intact, as well as the vault near the hold of the ship is undisturbed. What exactly is in there? That is none of your business. It never will be, you understand? Of course, Alex says. Unfortunately, I have to cover my rear end on this. You obviously know what I do. Especially since I heard that Rumenchek himself vouched for you. Alex nods. While in fact, that is not the case. The council has simply been able to provide very realistic-looking forgeries of paperwork. Leave it at that. So Alex simply listens to the man before asking, what exactly... I'm not exactly interested in what is in the hold of your ship. That ain't my business. But you're saying that we're dealing with cryptid smuggling. Is that correct? Indeed. It's very lucrative, and unfortunately, very dangerous. As a matter of fact, that's something I need to tell you about. I know you're not exactly a big fan of dogmen. You have good reason to hate them. But also you told me you were tired of doing damn council's dirty work. You can say that again. Fair enough. I was going to let you know there is a dogman on my ship. He is the one that protects the cargo. And while I do understand that you would not have a problem disposing of him, if you go in any way against him, that's considered a disrespect to me. And make no mistake, this is the second time I'm going to give you the warning, but I have to. I'm listening. Make no mistake, if you even think of disobeying any of the rules that I set forward for you, I will not hesitate to kill you and throw your body overboard. Are we clear? Understandable. Good. Just so we have that out of the way. As I said, you will definitely earn your keep. I will pay you about the same, since you are what you are, like I am what I am. I will pay you the same as Joshua, which is a pretty hefty amount. I'm not going to discuss that right now because it depends on which happens for job. Let's leave it at that. We're going to set sail tonight. I have a very interested buyer who wants to purchase what I have. However, I cannot afford to be caught on land at this time because I have received word that the council has their lackeys and spies in the city. And unfortunately for them, if I am out to sea, of course, there will be no eyes or ears. Number one. Number two, they have no jurisdiction. So that is where the negotiations will take place. And then we will sit port, possibly back here in Anchorage, or another area near the coast. I cannot tell you exactly where. But once all deliberations and communications are set, then of course, the transference of what I have in my cargo hold, as well as the cash to us. Once all negotiations and business transactions are complete, you'll be paid very well, I promise you that. I'm a man of my word. You can simply ask Joshua, and he will vouch for me, obviously. And I'm not simply talking about a man who's a lackey. Let me tell you something about Mr. Falcone. He thinks for himself. Sometimes he thinks too much for himself. Fair enough. I'll follow your orders to the letter. Good. Get yourself some rest. Make sure that you learn quickly. And as I said, simply follow my orders. Keep your eyes and ears open, as well as your head low. Don't get too nosy for your own good. And eventually I'll start showing you how to possibly handle this stuff on your own. Maybe eventually you'll want to strike out and actually do the same thing that I do. I'll be your mentor. I believe you'll be a very apt student, but I'm not going to do this right away. I have to understand if I can trust you. Are we clear? Of course. Go. Alex very calmly prepares the room which is offered to him. He unpacks his stuff and gets himself prepared to rest, at least for a couple of hours, before there's a knock on the door. Come in, he says. A large, dark-complected man enters the room without even saying as much as a hello. Ah, so you're the fellow that the captain was talking about. I take it you're Joshua. Ah, you're very observant. I respect that. I'll tell you straight up, I don't trust you, nor do I like you. And that's nothing personal, that's just how it is. Now, I'm not going to say you can't earn that. As long as you do what you're told, you and me, brother, we'll get along fine. We clear on that? Of course. So what exactly are my duties going to be? That's what the captain wanted me to tell you. It's not going to be much, mainly, of course, helping keep this ship maintained. Maybe some security work every now and then. I'm not sure if you know exactly how a vessel works, but I'll show you myself if I have to. I've been to sea a couple of times. When I was younger, I worked as a longshoreman. Ah, so you definitely know the way of handling things when it comes to cargo. Good. There will be times that you will be asked to prepare meals for the cargo and different things, and that's simply how it is. You'll eventually know what we're dealing with and how we handle such things after the first transaction. It should be happening in about 24 to 48 hours. I take it your client is fairly well off. Yes and no. That's one of the reasons we're having everything delayed. We've gotten the first half of the payment. This next transaction will be the second, the final. Of course, expenses with the expenses that were, how can I say is the best way? How we caught this one was by sheer accident, number one. You have to understand that. But it's also more exotic, as well as more valuable than your average. You know, this isn't just like some normal cryptid you'd find. This is something I didn't even know existed. So you're talking about something very rare and valuable, yes. Extremely valuable. And because of this, we cannot risk anyone having loose lips or being distracted. You get me what I'm trying to say? Yeah, perfectly. Personally, I think you're a nosy bastard that needs to be thrown overboard. But you can change my mind. Simply do as you're told. Help out when you're asked. I guarantee you, if you win my respect, I have your back. The captain is boneheaded. He's too boneheaded at times. He has a lot of pride. Sometimes he gets in over his head, especially when he's dealing with things like we have right now. All right? He said there was a dog man on board. Yeah, he's an old one. Probably about, I'd say, he's actually well into his 40s. Of course, dog men, as you know, live damn near as long as humans. So that's not even an issue right there, but he's about as strong as they get, too. I found him and bagged him. The old man was able to whip him into shape, and believe me, he wasn't easy to do. Matter of fact, I was kind of worried. That's one of them situations where I told you he likes to get in over his head. That's an example of what I'm talking about. So, I'm not sure how you'll be able to interact with them. I know you have a hard-on against many of them dogmen, and I can't blame you. Trust me, they're a pain in the ass to deal with. But you're going to have to put all that aside if you're going to stay on this ship. It's not a problem, Alex says. Trust me, I overcame my desire for revenge against them things a long time ago. Good. I know they've taken the lives of many people. I understand why you would have a problem with them, though. I'm not going to blame you for that. But again, your personal animosities have to stay behind if you're going to work with us. Of course. Good. Now, that that's out of the way. There's also 3 other crew members. Their names are Jonathan, Aaron, and Stephen. They're good guys, but they kind of stick together. The only one I'd be concerned about would either be Stephen or Jonathan. Jonathan's kind of overprotective of the other two. But he keeps them in line and keeps them on the straight and narrow. And of course, you already know, you'll be preparing meals, mainly, and some security. Mainly to make sure that the other 3 don't get too nosy. I want you to do whatever it takes at times, if needed, to dissuade them, to change their minds. You understand? Perfectly. And if that means doing what must be done, I don't expect any hesitation. I've taken my fair share of life. I'm very aware of that. I just want to make sure. Now, do I want you to just go around being a bully? No, that's not what I want. I simply want you to be aware and keep an eye on everyone on this ship. The fact is, the only 2 people you're to take orders from are me and Garrett, the captain. Anyone else, they can play with themselves. You answer directly to the two of us. Anything else? I'm kind of curious. What got you involved with this? I don't have a problem answering that. Number one, Garrett was there for me when I got out of prison. I was a little too ambitious for my own good, leave it at that. No more, no less. Alex, of course, wants to laugh in the man's face. He knows all too well what this man had done. He was a former hitman for the mob. A very sick and twisted deviant, a sexual deviant on top of it. Alex already knows something is very wrong when he had heard the term exotic when it came to their cargo. Alex swears right then and there, I'm going to kill this man. I just have to have the right time and the right place. This man is going to die. The scent of said cargo is all over him. He can't believe that the captain had been so foolish as to let him on this ship. But in the end, he also knows the captain's not an idiot, not truly. He was simply lonely and desperate. Alex can understand that. But whatever is going on, whatever is on this ship is very female, you can tell that much. And it's not human. He'll have to bide his time. He's not sure how he'll handle old Red. But he'll do what needs to be done if he has to do it. He knows he has 24 hours to act. And even then, he has time. As a matter of fact, maybe dealing with all of this and taking care of everyone on this ship while they're out to sea might prove more of an advantage to him than he can actually imagine. So therefore, he makes a decision then and there. He'll play the good little stoolie for now. Charles has simply asked him to find out information, not to go much further than that, unless he had no other choice. The way Alex sees it, he probably ain't going to. Time passes quickly. Over the next 12 hours, he gets about 3 or 4 hours sleep, and then he begins to realize what his duties are. Mainly cooking duty. He doesn't have a problem with that, even though he wishes personally he could poison at least 2 out of the 5 people that are operating on this ship. Fortunately for that, well, it wouldn't do much good besides, especially with one of his own kind. They'd be able to smell the poison before it even was served to him. And of course, he didn't have such supplies anyway. But one can wish, can't they? Alex decides simply to be quiet for the most part. He has no qualms interacting with the other 3. Jonathan is a big fella, not quite as big as Joshua, but overall he seems like a decent dude. He made a few bad mistakes in life, and he's now trying to right those wrongs. Alex can respect that. The middle one, Aaron, is kind of arrogant, but he's not a bad guy. He's simply one that, well, Alex can definitely recognize the type. Former military, much like himself, He kind of actually reminds him a little bit of Michael from Chapter 2. That fills the man with a heavy heart. He promises this time he'll watch out for him as best he can. He doesn't want anyone else to die under his watch who don't deserve it. And then, of course, there's Stephen. The fellow doesn't know how to shut up, period. But Alex humors him more times than not. He prepares the food as told. And, of course, at times, well, he hears Stephen talking to his older brother, Jonathan. I'm telling you right now, Steve, leave that shit alone. Oh, come on, man. I want to see what's in that damn vault. I mean, I really do. I think it'll be kind of whatever it is. I wonder if it's some kind of prehistoric lizard or another Sasquatch or something, I think what you need to do, boy, is leave things alone. Alex says, no argument in his tone. And who the hell? Trust me. His eyes flicker amber for a moment. Oh, shit. You're like the captain. That's right. And trust me, you ain't one to fuck with him. You damn sure ain't one to screw with me. Do we understand one another? Yeah, perfectly. There's a snarling near the door down the hall. A very large creature lays on the ground, simply relaxing. He's chained to the door. The beast is massive, red, and gray. It's obvious this is a dog man. He's older than any dogman that Alex has ever encountered. Of course, there are some that live to an advanced age, but for this one to be an alpha as long as he has been, Alex can tell this one is a fighter as well as a warrior. Yeah, the captain was able to kind of get that one into shape. It's kind of fun to watch, but at the same time, I thought the old man was going to get it. It's then that Aaron speaks. You know, Stephen, for someone who talks too much, you sure as hell don't know how to keep a secret. Then, of course, maybe that's the part of talking too fucking much. Relax, both of you, Jonathan says angrily. Now, Mr. McIntyre is just doing his job. Exactly. Okay, so if you're like the captain, that means you two, we know each other. Not very well, but we have similar pasts. Just leave it at that. So mutual interests. I can respect that, Jonathan says. Hey, there's nothing wrong with wanting a good-sized paycheck. I totally understand about that one, Mr. McIntyre. Don't mind my brothers, they're idiots. Both of them. You know, you really can be an asshole sometimes. The brothers are interrupted by Joshua, who calls out, "All right, boys, break's over. Get back to it. Come on, I'm not paying you just to lay around and be lazy assholes. Come on!" They all nod and get back to work, maintaining the ship, as well as different things which have to be taken care of. And with this, Joshua smirks slightly. I saw how you handled that. Impressed. Keep doing it. Me and the captain are expecting some company very soon. I want you to keep out of the way. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep cooking. I saw that you were interacting with Red there a little bit, but don't worry too much about that. Isn't that right, boy? The dog man makes no sound and simply snarls low. Those dull green eyes revealing hatred. He's a vicious bastard, but we got him beat. As long as you don't get on his bad side, you'll be fine. And with this, he walks away whistling. Alex is left to himself. And with this, he looks to the dog man, who, like I said, is chained to the vault door. The creature snarls low. He can tell that Alex has killed many of his own kind. Alex very calmly focuses, allowing the change to slightly take place, but nothing in a threatening manner. He simply allows his eyes to turn amber and his ears to slightly grow pointed. Relax. I'm not your enemy. Do you understand? The dogman growls lower. Now, standing, at first on all fours, but then on his hind legs. Talons flex. Growls viciously. And with this, he moves almost as if to charge. But then, he sees Alex's eyes. And he seems to understand something as Alex speaks. I had to kill one. Not much unlike you, a little younger. Big guy, just like you. But I didn't have much choice then. He crossed a line. He killed some friends of mine, him and his pack. Now, I ain't killed many of your kind for a reason. I understand now that you guys ain't much different than us. You're just, well, kind of on the different flip side of the same coin. I know you guys ain't like us, but you ain't that much different. I don't have a problem with you. As a matter of fact, I might be able to work with you. The dogman growls slowly. Loudly first. But then, he stops baring those nasty serrated teeth and calms down. His tail begins to wag lightly, as Alex very calmly crouches down. I'm not going to harm you. The creature lays back down on all fours, looking up at it, whining. I might even be able to free you. How would you like that? I know you understand what I'm talking about. The creature actually simply exhales and whines softly, just like a dog. I can't promise you anything. I might not be able to do a damn thing for you. But I'm going to try. I might have to look and see what's beyond that door sometime. And I trust you to have my back. The creature narrows its gaze. Snarls softly. Ah, so you're kind of protective of what's in there, huh? Why is that? The dogman simply refuses to respond at all. He simply curls up right in front of the vault door. They treated her bad, huh? The dogman does not respond, but his posture is all the answer Alex needs. I need you to be patient with me. if I can figure out what's going on and who our visitor is going to be, I promise you, I guarantee you, he ain't going to be a prisoner anymore. You understand? I have your back. I need you to have mine. The dog man simply chuffs slightly and actually nods. All right. He pets the creature very gently, and he allows his own features to return to normal. And with this, he commences carrying on the rest. 12 hours pass from that moment. And indeed, they have all pulled out to sea. However, despite the fact that they are in the middle of the ocean, it is not much trouble for them to see a very expensive yacht pull up. A dark-skinned man, a man who's obviously of Latin descent, can be seen with a couple of goons on either side of him. And with this, Garrett stands on the bow of his ship. Ah, Mr. Zanzibar, it's a pleasure to meet you. I take it you have my soon-to-be property? Indeed I do. I think you'll like her. I think you will like her quite a bit. Well, I want to see her as soon as possible. That, sir, I shall definitely be glad to make sure happens. Do you have the money? I sure do. One, a very big burly goon steps forward with 2 suitcases filled with money. They're opened. And of course, Garrett, being what he is, consents that this stuff is not fake. It's the real deal. That box right there has $250,000 solid gold bars, along with this $250,000 in cash. Now, do we have a deal? I'm a man of my word, you know that. I have to admit that Sasquatch, that one was fascinating. Whatever happened to it? Well, let's just say that my own client was very interested in buying it. Glad to hear it. How are things with Rumenchek? He's still an arrogant asshole as always. Indeed, Garrett says, smirking. The man known as Miguel Zanzibar was born in Venezuela. He is well known for being in Maduro's back pocket, as well as being a very corrupt, vicious man. He also has a very nasty reputation for collecting cryptids. And with this, he's led down to the vault. Alex is very quiet. He himself is remaining silent. He has no idea what's going on, and he won't be able to know until the transaction occurs. He doesn't even know if he'll be able to intervene beyond getting information and relaying that back to Charles. He doesn't have a cell phone. He had been searched before, even being allowed on the ship. He'd been forced to leave that behind. That, of course, Alex can't blame, Garrett for being so superstitious. Not superstitious, but suspicious or paranoid by nature. He can't blame him one bit. But that doesn't make him any less of a bastard. Alex does not make any sign known, or any inclination that he's spying on anybody. However, being what he is, and being as skilled as he is in espionage, being former military, it's very little trouble for him to easily get past the few cameras that are installed on the ship. He had actually been easily able to make note of where each one was without any hesitation. So he's at a perfect viewing point. He sees a man actually shorter than himself, fat, and 2 big goons on either side of him. This asshole here must be the so-called client in which Garrett was dealing with. He angles himself to where he can see down the hall, right out of eyesight of anyone else. His own heightened senses easily catch a view of what he sees. The short, fat man, that is Miguel Zanzibar, steps back in shock when he sees Old Red standing on his hind legs, towering at least a good 8 foot. All 900 pounds of the solid muscle bearing down upon him. The only thing keeping him back is that chain, which is retracted into the wall around his neck. Enough, Garrett snarls. There's actually a bit of a bestial, guttural growl when he says those words, enough, too. That of Old Red. The dogman very calmly, or meekly, I should say, lowers his head in submission and backs away. Alex cannot help but narrow his eyes. Even with his enhanced vision, it's hard to get a good view of what's going on. But he sees everything. He sees the short, fat man, the disgusting pig, step forward and look to the cargo. Indeed, she was exotic. She's a girl. Her skin is blue. There's no hair on her body. Curled up against the wall like a cat, hissing, bearing her very sharp, needle-like teeth. Her ears are webbed, as are her hands and her feet. Where her ribs are, between them are gill slits, which open and close. It's obvious this girl can breathe in the air and, like on land, and of course in the water. Gary has never seen a mer creature before, but of course he had heard of them. The females are actually very attractive. They're the ones that usually will be used to bring in human prey, and of course their mates, the males, are big, horrific creatures. Think of the creature from the Black Lagoon, the gill man. They're vicious creatures like that have no qualms eating human flesh. The females, like I said, are used as decoys. Yet despite this, Alex cannot help but feel the desire to kill these men here and there. Yet he knows he has to wait. He'd been told by Charles, if possible, do not take their lives, because it could simply bring more heat upon us than we really want from the council, the old rules they have to abide by. So he knows for a fact he'll have to wait. And hopefully, maybe, if he can keep his temper in check, he'll simply bring back proof and bring it to Charles, and then the rest will be taken care of from there. However, the next 2 minutes of conversation give him a better opportunity to take things into his own hands. I'm going to have to come back in 2 days. So you don't want to take her here and now? No, I've given you most of the money, and I trust you. You've always been trustworthy in the past, and you know for a fact I'm not a man to be crossed or fucked with. Never suggested that, but I can't hold her for more than 3 days. You are aware of this. Well, I am understanding that you have your own issues you have to deal with, as well as eyes upon your person. I get that. My God, she is beautiful, the man says. Unfortunately, as I said, I have to take care of a few business affairs before pleasure, so therefore, hold on to her. I'll be back within exactly 48 hours from now. And then, we will simply complete the transaction at that time. You have most of the money, so I know for a fact that this will not be a problem. Not at all, Garrett says. The two shake hands. Alex even now wants to puke. He sees Joshua standing in the background, licking his lips, looking at the girl. He is going to kill all of them. This, he swears, but he must take his time. He looks to Old Red. The dog man looks right back to him. He realizes he has an ally. He'll have to be very careful and play things out properly. He decides right then and now he cannot wait for the council, because the fact is, if this girl is taken, they won't be able to find her. And any evidence, well, he is very aware that Garrett is intelligent enough to know not to drag his heels on things. So be it. He'll have to do things his own way. Joshua Falcone zips up his pants, whistling in satisfaction, as he closes the vault door. The fact was, well, he'd been able to sedate Old Red with a couple of tranquilizer darts. They didn't have to worry about that one. Yet he feels that he'd been watched. He doesn't know why. He knows for a fact that, well, their new member for the crew, Alex, as well as the brothers, had all stayed sealed away like they were ordered to. So why does he feel like he's being watched? Doesn't make any damn sense. He decided to have his last bit of fun with the girl. After all, him being a deviant as he is only made proper sense. Besides, with that fat bastard taking her away, he figured he may as well show her what a real man's touch is like before she has to settle with mediocre goods. But in the end, screw it, a buyer is a buyer. And with this, he makes his way to his room. He turns on the shower. He's about to get undressed and clean up. However, it's at that moment that he actually feels someone in this room with him. That doesn't make any sense. He wonders if Zanzibar had actually had one of his goons stow away on board the ship, maybe to try to do something stupid like, maybe get the cargo for free, who knows. And that way he can take back the money that had been offered to Garrett and himself. He doesn't know, but he's not taking chances. He reaches into the drawer and pulls out a 9mm Glock, looking around. However, A blur moves beyond what the eye can see as a very powerful hand grabs him by the throat with such force that his hyoid bone is actually cracked, and he is forced to his knees, and the gun ripped away from his hand with such force that two of his fingers are broken. And with this, the small, powerfully built man viciously headbutts him as hard as he can, right in the nose, shattering his nose. And with this, the man tries to engage with his own very high knowledge of street fighting, as well as his greater physical size. But Alex is too strong. With a vicious punch right to the man's temple, he's knocked, quite literally damn near unconscious, onto the floor of the ship. He's very calmly turned over. The man shakes his head, trying to get the cobwebs off, as he quite literally tries to, grab and push the smaller but obviously much stronger werewolf off of him. Alex, his features are quite human except for those amber eyes. And with this, a knife is pressed to his throat. Make one fucking move and I kill you. God damn it, I knew! I said shut the fuck up. I smelled you all over her. I smelled her all over you. She's a goddamn child. What the hell's wrong with you? Hey, what can I tell you? You jealous? And with this, Alex very calmly cuts into the man's flesh, drawing blood, damn near cutting his throat. Oh, what? Stop! You want to keep talking? I'm going to ask you questions, and then you're going to answer them. You're going to kill me anyway. Of course I'm going to kill you. You were dead the moment you laid hands on her. It's just a matter of how quick you go, or how long it takes you to die. You understand? Fuck you. No, boy. Fuck you. And with this, he grabs the man by his testicles and squeezes, eliciting a horrible screech of pain as Alex claps his hand over the man's mouth. Shh. Now I can do this all night. Believe me, I'm gonna enjoy it. You ain't. All right. What do you want to know, you bastard? How'd you catch her? It was luck. She, sometimes the captain, he likes to go fishing for crab, different things like that. Supplement income when we can't catch good cargo. She was caught up in the nets. Hell, I didn't even know anything like her existed. I mean, I knew the captain was, and what you are, but it's too good to be true. Beautiful. Most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. Garrett decided, she would be a perfect catch. I don't know how he knows what she is, but he knew enough that she could survive on land for an indefinite amount of time. He knew what to feed her. She seems to like seafood and all that good crap. Wasn't an issue. But damn it, let me go! I promise I won't. So that's what it is, huh? Cecily was in the wrong place at the wrong time and you decided to be a fucking pervert. Now, I want you to know one thing. And what's that? The man struggles, trying to push Alex off of him. This. And with this, he sees Alex's hand. His left hand is the one holding him down. He sees fur ripple across the man's hand and claws erupt as quite literally, those claws dig into his throat. He feels them cut into his flesh. And then all of a sudden, there's a sickening pop as the man's neck is snapped. Alex very calmly spits in the man's dead face. Don't worry. You got some other people gonna be joining you in hell pretty fucking quick. I promise you that. Jonathan is currently performing his rounds along the ship. He notices the door to Joshua's room open. That's strange. The man is an asshole. He's a thorough asshole. He never, ever leaves that door open or unlocked when he's not in there. He's about to shout a warning to his brothers, and all of a sudden Alex grabs him, clamping a hand over his throat, literally his mouth, holding him against the wall. The man tries to fight back, but Alex again, since he's not human, he's just too strong, despite the other man being quite a bit bigger. Shh! Look, I'm not gonna harm you. Trust me, if I wanted you dead, you'd be dead already. You know what I am.
Yeah, no shit.
Jonathan says. Calm down. I ain't your enemy. Actually, I got something to show you. Alright, I want you to get your brothers. And I'll be honest with you. How the three of you respond to what you're seeing will determine a few things. Like whether we live or die. You're a smart kid. Alex has that 9mm in his grip. Don't do anything stupid. I think all of you are on the level. I done had to kill one man tonight. I didn't exactly regret it. Don't make me regret killing you, because I don't think you're the same kind of individual that's deserving it. Don't be stupid. Get your brothers, and make sure that the old man ain't notified. He probably already knows, and I'll deal with him. Get him, now. He nods, and with this, he quickly rustles up Aaron and Stephen. The three quickly make themselves known. All right, you got my brothers here. What's going on? Well, I want to show you boys something. And with this, old Red, very calmly, obviously now he's very awake and very, very furious. However, he sees Alex. The man nods to the dog man. The massive beast growls softly. Remember what I told you, boy. Trust me. The creature nods and shuffles out of the way. Alex very calmly produces the key in which he had taken from Joshua's corpse and locks the vault. I want all of you to follow me to stay close, but not too close. I'm not sure how this girl's gonna respond. Girl? Jonathan says in shock. Aaron speaks up. What are you talking about? There's no damn girl in there. You're crazy. That's not... I mean, don't... I said shut up and keep close to me. Stephen speaks. I think he's right, man. Let's just... For once, the one who speaks too much is the wiser of all three. Jonathan nods. And they follow Alex into the vault once the door is pushed open. The girl, of course, is bruised horribly. Her blue skin has cuts all over. She's curled up into a ball, fetal position. She hisses viciously at Alex. But then Old Red drops to all fours and barks softly. And growls. The girl looks to Old Red. Obviously there's a bond between the two. She hisses back, and then looks to Alex. And with this, Alex at that moment is hit with mental images. Images not of his own mind's making. First, Alex almost panics when he sees these images that are not of his own thinking. But then, of course, he remembers what Blackfeather had taught him about the Nereids, also known as merfolk. He grits his teeth as he forces himself to accept the images being projected into his mind. Horrible images. He sees through the girl's eyes, her swimming with her family. A very horrific-looking creature, as I said before, a male version of her species, obviously her father, and of course a very attractive, older version of the girl, slightly larger, obviously her mother. And then another creature, horrific, actually larger than the father, the woman's mate, the girl's mate. He's young, but he's massive for one of his species. Alex, at that moment, winces, and he speaks softly. I'm not going to harm you. I'm going to try to free you, you understand? But I need you to remain still. The girl grits those razor teeth at him, but she then calms down somewhat. Her lovely features no longer feral, but quite lovely. As Alex actually feels his heart hurt, as he then sets a hand on her shoulder and very calmly unlocks both her restraints as well as the chain around her neck. The chains clatter to the floor. As Alex then speaks softly, looking to the three brothers. He notices their look of horror and disgust at what they had obviously been an unknowing party to. It's Stephen that speaks. My God. I mean, I don't care what she is. She's just a girl. Oh my God. What the fuck have we been doing? I mean, I thought these were just monsters. And I understand why you think that. The male versions of her species ain't too attractive. But that ain't exactly why she was wanted, was she? And with this, the red growl was at her, looking at them, almost judging them. But it's Aaron who speaks. So what do you need us to do? I need you all to keep an eye on her. I have an old man to kill. Someone, get her a blanket, something. Try to get her some food, something, anything. Just make sure she doesn't leave this room. Aaron nods. And with this, Jonathan takes charge. All right, you heard the man. Come on, let's do this. Alex very calmly makes his way to the captain's quarters. The room is empty, but he can easily catch the scent. The scent of the filthy pervert in which it started this entire bout of madness. Alex has seen the bruises. He's seen the scratches. The man has to die. There's no doubt about it. The council, if they have any issue, they can kiss his ass. Besides, this is the last favor he owed them anyway. He says, I'm sorry, Charlie, but I can't. He follows the scent to where the old man stands, right at the bow of the ship. His hands are in his pockets. He simply stands casually, ignoring the salty wind that blows all around them. You killed him, didn't you? It's not like you didn't deserve it. You're just like the rest of them. I should have known you were the council's fucking lapdog. I'm going to be honest with you. If I hadn't seen anything that was too suspicious, I would have let it go and told him to stick it. You have to understand something, old man. I ain't exactly a friend of the council. I just owed him a couple of favors, mainly the one who made you. He's 10 times the man you are. Spoken like a true fucking hypocrite. No, boy, you're the hypocrite. No, you old bastard, you're the hypocrite. Is it hypocrisy simply to do what one has to do to survive in this world? I wasn't lying to you, son, when I said my own people turned against me. I know exactly why they did, too. You're hunting people for sport. No freaking reason at all. Of course, we're predators. Both creatures like you and me. We've always been predators. Don't tell me you haven't killed for the thrill of it. I've hunted animals more than once, but never the two-legged variety, unless they deserved it. And who are you to decide who deserves what? At least I don't go around trying to put my hands on young girls who ain't deserving to be treated like that. Spoken like a true neutered member of our society. The founder, it was all his doing. I heard many stories of him during his human years. And then how he became one of us. He was a true savage. My God. He was a true one of us. He was a true warrior. Truly how we were always meant to be. And then, again, he was neutered by his own conscience. He became something he never desired to be. You're right, maybe he is an abomination in some ways. But it ain't a choice of his that he made. And I'll be honest with you, he's always had my respect. Unlike you, you're just a mad freaking dog. That's all you ever were. That's all you're ever gonna be. I'm offering you a chance, son. You can't take me. You know what I am. I'm an alpha, unlike anything you've ever seen. You also are aware, I'm pretty sure like they told you, just what I can do. I'm very aware. You're a thropa, not a Leica. Now I'm going to go into a little bit of a technical term here, so please understand why I try to go through this with you. A Leica is what 80% of the Brotherhood are, or those of the Fellowship, the entire gamut of werewolf kind. And these, of course, are the ones that turn into massive lupine beasts. Of course, looking similar to that of the Dogman, or not unlike the Lycan from Underworld, actually very similar to that. Think of how William Corvinus looks, but black, if you get my drift, or any other color of the natural spectrum of wolves. However, a Leica is this, but the Thropa is another. The Thropa is roughly 20% of werewolf kind. And these form into that of the Wolfman. Think Lon Chaney, not Lon, yeah, I think it was, yes, Lon Chaney. Think of him, the Wolfman, if you understand where I'm going with this, or the 2010 movie with Benicio del Toro. That appearance. While physically they're slightly weaker than that of the Leica strain, they actually have more control of their bestial side. They can actually even use weapons and different things, and actually even speak in that form. And truly they are feared, even among those of the werewolf species. Even the alphas try to leave them alone, especially an alpha rank. And you just killed my best fucking friend. As well as the fact, I don't have much to lose right now. So who is supplying you? Roman check? Of course. He's a vain bastard, but he's also very pragmatic. I have to give him respect where it's due. The council has always had issues when it comes to certain things. True, there might be a little bit of the more morally bankrupt affair. They're lucrative, more money. The power in which we truly all could have had. But no, the freaking founder, Abel, decides there's certain routes we cannot take. And of course, his word, the man makes quotation marks, is law. Well, guess what? Fuck the law. Fuck all of you. Now, I'm willing to let all of this go if you'll just let me walk away. Take the girl. Take whoever. I don't care. But if not, I am going to spill your guts all over this deck. The man very calmly pulls out 2 silver blades, massive Bowie knives, from sheaths that are held behind his jacket. They glint in the moonlight. And with this, Alex raises his brow. How the hell are you able to hold those? As I said before, being what I am, this strain, it allows me to concentrate a little bit better. Especially when it comes to the other side. His eyes glow amber. His features begin to grow hairier. His feet start to crack as his height and muscle mass begin to build. His clothing is shredded. Falling loose tatters to be washed away by the wind. The beast stands at least a good 6'10" to 7 foot tall. He is not massive as most werewolves would be, because again, he is more of the Wolfman variety. But he is impossibly muscled. His teeth, while they're close set to his face, are razor sharp. His claws, massive. The beast stands forth on hawked feet as he speaks softly. I give you one chance. Walk away. His massive taloned hands hold those silver blades. His hands actually smoke and bleed slightly, but Alec is impressed. He realizes he has no choice. He may not even have a chance to shift in time, but he cannot afford to let those brothers who have helped him when it comes to acquiring to that girl's safety be harmed, even if it means his own life. With a 9mm Glock in his hand, beyond what the eye can see, he shoots the massive Wolfman, quite literally in the chest. Of course it does no good. The bullet simply hits into hard muscle and very thick hide, but nothing. Of course there's no bleeding. His regeneration immediately takes care of that. The creature chuckles and lunges forth. However, Alex, he slams his elbow as quick and as hard as he can into the back of the creature's head. He is actually able to knock the beast to the floor. Due to his own adrenaline flowing through his veins, as well as his own lupine strength. Never forget, Alex is a very powerful alpha, possibly the most powerful of his kind, due to him being infected at only a very young age. If you remember chapter 1, Alex at that moment wills a change. He realizes the gun is useless, so he throws it to the side. The change happens within seconds. His own body ripples and contorts into a massive lupine monster. However, he does not focus the shift as much as he had like when he came against the Sasquatch in chapter 2. He knows to literally force himself to become that much of a monster, he would lose his own ability to think, as well as any reasoning, and that could possibly actually prove his undoing. So he maintains, for the most part, the lichen-type form. And with this, he slashes forth, trying to slash into Garrett's face. However, Garrett smirks and dodges to the side, slamming one of those silver blades into Alex's shoulder blade. The werewolf howls in pain and drops to the ground. And with this, Garrett stabs down with the other knife, stabbing into his back, paralyzing him. The silver, of course, halting any regeneration. And with this, he crouches down, whispering into Alex's ear. I'm going to kill you, slowly. And then, I'm going to keep your head as a trophy on my wall. He growls, each guttural syllable of each word, quite literally a curse of death. However, before he can make the killing blow, a red-furred form slams into the grave form of Garrett, knocking him literally damn near into the ocean. However, Garrett holds his own as he literally slams those razor claws of his into Old Red's shoulders. The dogman growls viciously, his massive jaws slashing and snapping for the werewolf's face. However, again, as I said before, a dogman, no matter how powerful and old, is very rarely a match for a werewolf. And this, of course, proves true, as Garrett roars in the dogman's face and viciously sends out a slash, raking into Old Red's face, taking out his right eye. The dogman whimpers in pain as he crashes to the ground. The creature, that is Garrett, snarls and grins lightly. And with this, he says, "Bad dog." And with this, the Lyca-strained werewolf, not Lyca, but Thropa-strained werewolf, quite literally straddles the dogman's back and grabs both the upper part and lower part of his muzzle and jaw and prepares to pull them apart. Alex, of course, is very familiar with this move. However, he cannot stand or even think to try to do anything. Those blades are still lodged in his back and his shoulder. However, the sound of a gunshot pierces through the darkness as Garrett howls in agonizing pain. As at that moment, Jonathan can be seen, the 30-06 rifle in his hands. I always knew packing this around would come in handy. Now fucking die, you bastard! And with this, he shoots the second round. However, Garrett is too fast. He moves, of course, beyond what the eye can see, him being the vicious alpha that he is. And with this, he grabs Jonathan by the shoulders and with vicious teeth bites in and rips out the man's throat, killing him instantly. Alex growls viciously, forcing himself to try to stand. With extreme effort and no small amount of agonizing pain, he allows the final part of the transformation to occur. He no longer holds back. And due to what he is, his normally fairly short but long, definitely canine muzzle elongates to a very massive size. His claws become even more massive. His ears become larger. His body becomes even more muscular. And with this, he forces the regeneration despite the agonizing pain of the silver damn near killing him right now. To rip through his body. His muscles flex, and the silver blade that was in his back falls. Garrett looks in horror at the creature in which he faces now down before him. The blackbird beast that is Alex McIntyre roars angrily in his face as he charges forth. However, Garrett takes advantage of the fact that he's still hurt and wounded from that silver. He very quickly dodges under Alex's slash and slams his shoulder as hard as he can against the larger werewolf's back, sending him sprawling. Too slow. You're good, he says, exhaling softly. Never seen one. Get up from that. Too bad. And with this, he very calmly picks up one of those blades. He begins to advance on Alex, who is still too hurt due to the fact his back is, of course, silver is flowing through his veins right now. The damage to his back is bad. He's damn near paralyzed, despite the fact he was able to force himself to stand. Alec, at this moment, growls. And with this, he halts. He smells something. He can also sense their presence. A loud rasping can be heard through the darkness as Alex looks in horror and shock to see two massive blue-skinned creatures. It's obvious they just leapt onto the ship with inhuman ease. They're massive, both of them. The older male stands at least a good 7 foot from head to toe. He is very lithe in build, massive, venomous claws sticking out from webbed fingers. His features, as I said, they resemble very close to the Gill Man, or that creature from that movie, The Shape of Water, if you understand where I'm going with this. Quite literally a fish-like monster with very hideous intent. The creature hisses viciously and advances upon Garrett, beyond what even a werewolf can actually manage. The other one, obviously younger, but massive, truly even for their standards, grabs the other side of Garrett. Garrett struggles royally and viciously. He actually bites the shoulder of the older of the two creatures. The creature howls in pain, or more growls in pain. It is actually Garrett that howls. And suddenly, at that moment, a very sharp, viciously made object made of obviously fish bone, as well as some kind of cartilage and stone, is stabbed into his chest. Another is stabbed into the side of his neck. And with this, the younger of the two, the massive creature, quite literally with no small amount of effort, slashes his claws, those poison dripping claws, into Garrett's chest and out through his back. And with this, the father gurgles some weird communication to the younger. He nods, and with this, he bites into Garrett's neck, sending more venom careening through the werewolf's immune system. As the poison takes his control through his veins, his flesh begins to blister and blacken. He convulses. And with this, he gurgles, "Not like that!" And then he dies, falling dead at the fish creature's feet. The younger, the massive one, begins to advance upon Alex, obviously thinking that, his scent is similar to this one that he could tell had raped his mate. The scent is similar. They're the same species. So he's naturally thinking this one has to die too. But it's at that moment that a cat-like shriek pierces through the darkness. And the girl, his mate, scuttles in front of him and then crouches right in front of Alex, hissing at her own mate. He steps back, surprised. And then he understands. The creature growls softly and exhales, gurgling in that guttural language to that of the father. The father nods slowly, and with this, they throw the body of Garrett overboard. And with this, they look to Red. Old Red is very much alive, but hurt. Alex forces himself to stand. He's too exhausted right now to take the form of any human being. Plus, the fact is, if he tries to now, and he changes back, he'll become feral. Permanently locked in a human form, at least until the full moon, but still permanently in a feral mindset. Not a good way to go. However, the hunger takes over. And with this, he drops to all fours, running into the area in which he'd killed Joshua Falcone. He devours the body right then and there, nothing but bones remaining, and he forces the change. And his body sinks back to that of a man. Alex coughs up blood, looking to the girl, as well as the two massive creatures. And it's obvious he sees a third, a female, among them. Obviously the girl's mother. Alex speaks softly. Go. There's nothing for you here. Go home. The girl nods, and with this, she reaches forward and actually runs a clawed hand along Alex's face, through his beard, as if saying, thank you. He nods slowly. The two surviving brothers, Aaron and Stephen, come forth from the shadows. Damn it, Johnny. God damn it. Why did you have to be a hero? Stephen screams, crying over his brother's body. He's on his knees, his hands literally on the man's chest. Aaron calmly sits a hand on the younger brother's shoulder. He did what he needed to do. And with this, he looks to Alex. Is it over? Is he dead? Yeah. What were those things? For at this moment, they all can see the creatures, including the girl, jumping off the bow of the ship into the water. Her family, he says. Stephen nods slowly. Do you guys have any idea how you can get us back to Anchorage? Alex says, coughing up more blood. You gonna be all right? It's gonna take time, but yeah, I'll be okay. And with this, both nod, and they basically crouch and mourn over their fallen brother. Alex speaks softly. I'm sorry. Aaron speaks up. I saw what you were trying to do. You did what you could, man. Believe me. I think that Johnny here would understand that too. Alex nods slowly. And with this, the two brothers take control of the ship and they head back to port. Once all is said and done, once they reach port, Alex, of course, makes a few phone calls, since he has access to a phone at this moment in time. Charlie, of course, answers immediately, and within a matter of hours, different members of the Fellowship are there. Of course, werewolves in dark clothing make sure the scene's secured, as well as all the bodies taken care of. Charles looks to the form of Joshua being carted away in a stretcher. You did a number on him. Didn't have a choice. Of course. You had to eat him to change back, didn't you? And if I wanted to remain sane, I didn't exactly know of any other way. I wasn't exactly going to go around eating on that poor kid. He saved my life. And with this, Charles coughs slightly. Jonathan, that's what you said his name was, right? Yeah. I'll make sure that him and his brothers are compensated as best as I can to the best of my power, but no worry, they'll keep their mouths shut. It kind of makes me question their character, though. They had no knowledge of this. None. Still, they knew that old bastard was going around smuggling cryptids. They've had a hard enough time, Charlie. Leave it alone. Besides, I'm done. This was the last favor and you called it. I know. I need to know. Where's Rebecca? And with this, Alex looks up as Charles smiles gently and steps back to the side. The taller woman, known as Rebecca Abernathy, looks to him. She says nothing. She simply crushes the shorter man, as her fiancé by now, to her chest. She hugs the man tightly and simply buries her face into his neck, and Alex buries his face into her hair. The two rock each other back and forth. There's nothing else to say. And with this, Alex looks to that of Charlie. And with this, he asks, so what's going to happen from here on out? What do you mean? Well, this should be more than enough evidence of what you're needing to take care of Roman chick, right? Or are you just going to sweep this under the rug like anything else? That hurts Charles deeply, but in the same respect, he understands why the one who is like a son to him would say these things. No, this time it's going to be handled by... The council's not going to do anything. The founder has taken it up on himself to deal with this. It's about damn time. Look, I'm tired. And with this, Rebecca speaks. Charlie, I appreciate everything you've done, but we're going home. All right. It's like you said, we're done. I won't ask for anything else. You guys want to live your lives, feel free to. And with this, the two walk away hand in hand. And with this, Rebecca gets Alex into her car, on the passenger side. She guns right in and drives towards the airport, definitely towards home. Leaving Charles to his thoughts. After the snafu, which had happened with Garrett, as well as his little cryptid smuggling affair, Miguel Zanzibar has gone into hiding. He knows all too well the wrath of the Council of Ten. And suffice to say, he has no desire to become torn to shreds by a pack of flesh-eating lupine monsters. However, it's at that moment that he sees someone else. She's beautiful, drop-dead stunning. She's a little tall for a female that he's used to, but she's absolutely gorgeous. She had come up to him and simply offered her services, saying that she was connected to a few of the escort services in which he had dealt with in the past. And of course, with this alabaster-skinned beauty, he wasn't turning her down. However, at this moment in time, the two of them had definitely engaged in a few affairs, or at least she had promised that he would definitely enjoy the finest of pleasures for the night. So currently, he's chained to a bed. However, the redhead smirks slightly. You need to review your clientele a little better than you have. What are you talking about? Simple. It's not the werewolves you need to worry of, my dear. It's me. You need not worry for calling for Juan or whoever the hell he is. My friend Stanley took care of him. I have to say that from what Stanley told me, even though he cannot speak, he was quite tasty. You see, I owed the council a favor. And Abel himself needed a favor of me. He's a good man, so I could not say no to him. Besides, in the end it matters little. I always repay those debts. And with this, he very calmly leans down, looking the man right in the eyes. You're a pig. And while I'd like you to squeal like one, I do not have time. I have a debt to repay. So therefore I must tell you good night, Mr. Zanzibar. It was not pleasant. The woman, very calmly, allows her fangs to drop, and she bites down into his throat, and Mirrodin Triculos drains him to a husk. Nothing is left, except a mummified-looking corpse laying there in the bed. He didn't even have a chance to scream. And with this, Stanley, the massively built vampire which he had brought across roughly 200 years ago, looks to her. She smirks lightly. I take it you weren't playing nice, were you? He shakes his head. Such is the way of things. Get the chopper ready. I believe David will be very concerned if I do not hurry home soon enough. The man signs lightly. He can be a mother hen, I know. But I'm worse. The man rolls his eyes and nods. She swats him upside the back of the head. Stop it, you. Come on. We need to get back home. And with this, they leave the corpse of Miguel Zanzibar, as well as that of his goons, to rot in the estate which they had thought would be their safe haven, but actually it proved to be their tomb. Alexander Rumenchek is exhausted after being found out by the council of his own unscrupulous dealings. I mean, come on, think about it. The old ways were antiquated, as well as that of... they were pathetic. There was no need to live by such rules anymore. They were men that walked among sheep. Wolves among sheep. Why should any of the council bend to the will of that abomination? True, he had founded their ways, but also he had weakened them. Pathetic. However, he is now living in fear. He thinks that he has it safe in his base in the Virgin Islands. However, he's very aware that someone is here. His men are all dead, and he is alone on the estate. His little beachfront property, now the last place on Earth in which he will ever be seen alive. He knows this. And with this, he tries to will the change. But for some reason, he can't. This makes no sense. He himself is an alpha of no small rank. However, he feels a presence in his mind. Something that literally is overtaking him, which he cannot understand. I see that you are aware of my presence, are you not? Abel says softly. You have to understand something. As a creature, being what I am, I have certain, the man taps his forehead, abilities. Call it psychic twinkle. Twinkle, yes, I know, a very bad joke. But in the end, it matters little. I can stand into the sun, but I don't sparkle. The man very calmly reaches across the table, looking to the glass of wine in which Rumenchek had poured for himself. He calmly sips it. Vintage, very fine vintage, I must say. You have good taste. Unfortunately, the other things in which you have foul tastes in are going to cost you your life. You are a monster. You remind me in some ways of what I was at one time. But then I saw the light. Oh yes, me and my puns. Please forgive me for that. My friend, Old Red. Yes, a very powerful member of the Brotherhood. Found him. And, well, my friend Charles brought him to me. Well, our two races have definitely been enemies at times. We are both learning to in time hopefully coexist. Isn't that right, boy? He pets the dog man's head affectionately with a long-nailed, fingered hand. The creature whines lightly and wags his tail, as obviously he's on all fours. And with this, Abel Solinsky smirks slightly, revealing fang teeth. I also promised him a new chew toy. He does not like you very much. Let me change. At least give me a fighting chance. He can feel the hybrid's mind, quite literally his mind, taking control over his own thoughts and body. How simple. Then Malachi gave me his blood. Certain things, I guess you could say, were opened up before me. It pains me some to overpower the minds of my own brethren like this. It is a way, That is just how it goes. Now, I'm not interested in... He says this. I am not interested in excuses or why you did what you did. I know why. The fact is, you have endangered our kind. You have endangered all of us. And for that, you have to die. Go ahead, boy. Enjoy your snack. And of course, this moment, the only thing which Romanchek can do is he is devoured alive by the Dogman. He screams. His powers useless, and his regeneration is quickly cut short. As Old Red, the one-eyed Dogman, gladly bites into his face, killing him. And with this, Abel very calmly whistles to him. Down, boy. Come. You and me. We will find many things and travel different lands together. The two of us. I know your time is short, but I cannot change you. It is not among my power. Unfortunately, that is just how things work. But I promise you, you will never, as long as you live with me, fear for your life. And you will never grow short of prey to hunt. The Dogman barked happily. And if he could smile, he would. And with this, I end Chapter 3 of Werewolf Hunter. I hope you enjoyed this installment into the Werewolf Hunter series. It took a while for me to actually finally be able to make it, but after getting it all together and just running it out there, I was finally able to get it out onto an audio format. I apologize for the birds in the background, but unfortunately I had no other option or opportunity in which to start the story off. But either way, despite that, I hope you enjoyed the story. I definitely plan on putting out more content. You guys be blessed and you be safe.